Today we're going to talk about the opportunities and traps that I currently see in the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin market at the moment, following the correction in Bitcoin and the very rapid recovery that we have seen since. And it's not just in Bitcoin where we're seeing this recovery. We're also seeing it in altcoins as this dominance figure has dropped from 47% all the way down to 43.5%. So some of you are probably wondering what my opinions are now that Bitcoin is all the way up at 16,000 from a low of 10,500 yesterday. My opinion is that this is not a healthy recovery. In short, that's my opinion. And the reason I feel that way is because I mentioned this in my previous video. For it really to be a healthy correction, Bitcoin needed to stay at depressed levels for a little while, make people question it. But because we saw this bounce back so quickly, I want to talk briefly about why I think dead cat bounces happen, because there's always the technical way to explain things, but I think most things can be explained from a psychological level. A dead cat bounce happens because, at least in my opinion, when people see the price start coming up like this, they jump in because they think a recovery is happening. However, they still don't have a ton of confidence in whatever the underlying asset is, in this case Bitcoin. And as a result of that, when we see the next sell-off, because confidence isn't high, we have more weak hands. So people start to sell very rapidly. We started to see one sign of this yesterday where Bitcoin went up to 15,500, and in the course, this was 1 hour, we saw it go from 15,500 all the way down to 13,750, where there was substantial support, and we saw Bitcoin bounce back. I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin head back downward again. However, I'm still going to continue to hold until Bitcoin reaches roughly 17,000, I'm going to say $250, because I think there is substantial resistance there, not only on the one-day candles, but you can also kind of see it on the 6-hour candles. It's roughly around this area. You can see how many candles sort of hover around that area. So I'm probably going to sell at some point around 17,000 to 17,500 if we see Bitcoin bounce back to that level, just because I think that this market at the moment should not be recovering this quickly. And more importantly, I think that the majority of people that are holding at the moment actually have weak hands. As a result of that, I think that there's a chance that we do see another substantial sell-off, and I will take some off of the table if we reach 17,000. Now you might be wondering, why am I going to pick 17,000 as opposed to, selling off now? Why am I not putting my money where my mouth is? And the simple answer is because I think this market can do irrational things for longer than I expect it to. This is probably going to be the next meme for my channel. My last meme was when I sold Bitcoin for 10,000 and everybody said that I'm salty as Bitcoin started going all the way up to 20,000, and that's why I was bearish. If we see Bitcoin go all the way up to 25,000, then 17,000 is going to be the next meme for the channel, so be ready for that. In all seriousness though, I probably will start to sell off a little bit of my cryptocurrency holdings at $17,000 for Bitcoin. That does include altcoins, especially if this dominance figure doesn't change or goes down. If we see the dominance figure go up, then I'll probably keep more of my altcoin positions. I generally prefer Bitcoin right now just because of this dominance figure. While I think that the market is filled with weak hands, which I do think that it is, I don't think there's a ton of support for price at the moment. As long as I think that, Bitcoin is always going to be the superior asset over altcoins. Altcoins will always do best when Bitcoin is doing slightly well or slightly bad, not moving all that much, and the market as a whole has plenty of capital. As long as it has that liquidity, then altcoins will continue to do well. However, I don't think that the market is that strong. I would not be surprised to see if it tanked again, and as a result of that, I prefer Bitcoin over altcoins. Now, I haven't sold out of any of my altcoin positions in terms of moving it into Bitcoin since I last talked about it. In other words, I talked about it in a previous video that I just did, where I talked about Bitcoin opportunity over altcoins. I'm still holding the same allocation between Bitcoin and altcoins. However, my cash position has decreased as I bought a bunch of Bitcoin at 11,500, and since then I'm probably going to again sell at roughly 17,000 if we see that opportunity arise. I don't know how much I'm going to sell. I have to figure that out still, but I'm probably going to take a decent percentage off the table, at least take me back to the amount of cash that I had when Bitcoin came down to 11,500 in the first place before my order executed. And I might even do a little bit more than that, because I guess we'll see, because the market always tends to surprise me. It always recovers faster than I anticipate. If you recall back here, this was when Segwit 2x got canceled. I turned bullish on Bitcoin and I said that there was 2 price targets that I was interested in. I said I was going to buy it all the way down to 4,000. Now it actually never came down to 4,000, as you can tell here, but I bought it at 6,500, which you can see here, and then I bought it at 5,500, which I was very fortunate that it did come down to briefly. And then since then, there was really no dips. It just kept going straight up. And as a result of that, I was very hesitant about investing in Bitcoin over that time period, and Bitcoin continued to surprise me. So that might happen yet again. I think that I should sell it at around 17,000. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be reducing my position at that level. If altcoins are doing a little bit better against Bitcoin by the time we get to 17,000, if we get to 17,000, then I'll probably sell some of those as well and just have a much larger cash position than I usually do. Now, this may end up being the wrong decision in terms of what happens to Bitcoin next. For all I know, it goes up to 30,000, and like I said, the next meme on this channel is going to be that he sold at 17,000. However, it reduces my risk, which is more important for me than absolute return. And again, it's just how I see the market, which means that if I see an opportunity like this to sell at a certain point and I don't take that opportunity, and then Bitcoin falls back down to 13,000 or whatever, I'm really going to be hitting myself in the head. I would prefer to be wrong and stay true to my predictions and my thoughts than to be wrong when I knew what was going to happen and just didn't act on it, because that has a much more emotional or stronger emotional toll on you, which then makes it so that you'll make future decisions incorrectly because you'll start doubting yourself. It's just not worth it, trust me. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this particular market. I don't think that it's a healthy recovery at this point in time. I think there's a lot of weak hands in the market, which will get shaken out in the event that we see the whales start to cash out again. I think a lot of whales are hesitant of Bitcoin at the moment, given the massive size of the correction that we saw over the last week or so. As a result of that, I think they're going to be cautious when it comes to investing into Bitcoin, and they are required to keep this market propped up. So it should be very interesting to see what happens over the next week or two. But I, for now, am cautious about investing in this particular market. There are still some opportunities within the market. For example, you guys know that I've been relatively bullish on Ethereum for quite some time. I still think it's going to go down against Bitcoin, just like the rest of cryptocurrencies will, in the event that we see another crash. But in the event that we don't see a crash, I think Ethereum is undervalued enough against Bitcoin that I will continue to hold basically no matter what. And again, my price target is for 5.5 to 6 million Satoshi. And right now we are at 4.9 million Satoshi. For those of you that are unfamiliar with how to read that, just basically remove this decimal here and read off this number as if it were a whole number. So, 4,934,060 Satoshi. Anyway, if you think there's any opportunities within the market in altcoins, I would be very selective at the moment. I would not buy, go shopping for altcoins when dominance is this low for Bitcoin, because I think in the event that we start seeing weak hands getting shaken out of this market, altcoins are the first to go. It's just the nature of how things work. In the event that we see Bitcoin go to the moon, where we see it go up to 25,000, which I think is a much lower probability than it going back down. But if we do see that happen, then likely we're going to see some funds shift from altcoins back into Bitcoin like we've seen in the past. So I do not think that this is a good general opportunity for altcoins. This is a time to be very selective, at least in my opinion. So those are my thoughts on the current market. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd be very interested in hearing them. As usual, I tend to be a little bit more active on my Steemit just because the number of comments is a little bit more manageable, and it's also more accessible to other people in terms of seeing my responses, because there are times where I respond to a comment that is like the 500th comment on a video, and it gets no likes, and then nobody sees my response to that comment. So you can see all of my responses in one place here. In addition, there's a monetary incentive for both you and I to post content on here. You can see here that I get paid roughly this amount. It's actually more than this because the value of Steam dollars is quite a bit higher. And then the other thing that works out here is you have a monetary incentive to comment on here as well. If people upvote your particular comment, then you can get paid just like I do. So it's an interesting platform. It's an easy way to interact with me. Even if you don't want to sign up and actually comment on there, you'll be able to see my responses to other people's comments. So it could be interesting for you in that sense as well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out the description and the pinned comment for links to the Steemit. Leave a like, comment, and subscription, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.